Jake and Rebecca Harrow have been arrested and charged in connection to the death of 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro. They were both being housed at the Robert Presley Detention Center located in Riverside. However, it is being reported that Jake Harrow has been transferred to the Larry D. Smith Correctional Institute, separate from his wife and co-defendant Rebecca Harrow. Is Jake planning to roll on his co-defendant? Stay tuned as we uncover one of the most horrifying mysteries our nation has ever seen. Shout out to the Rugerverse and all of my superstars. It is your boy Reek Ruger, and I really need y'all assistance in breaking this down. This killer couple, they've finally been arrested, and they have both been charged with murder with malicious intent. Jake and Rebecca Haro were both witnessed at a hardware store not long before the alleged kidnapping was reported, attempting to buy a Sawzall. Keep in mind that Jake Haro is an all-star Walmart employee, but he didn't choose to use his Walmart discount. No, he's smarter than that. I mean, come on. He was probably the person that orchestrated the bulletproof alleged kidnapping story that happened outside of the Big Five sporting goods store. So of course, Jake Haro went to a random hardware store, and his thought process was probably that this would never connect back to him. But knowing what we know now about this mysterious crime family, it explains Jake Haro's confidence, seeing as though his 10-week-old daughter, who is now 7 years old, who he was charged with felony child cruelty and was sentenced to 180 days in jail and allowed to participate in a work release program. Now that the two have been arrested in connection with the disappearance of baby Emmanuel, it makes you wonder, why are they separating Jake Haro from his wife and co-defendant Rebecca Haro? I think I know why. And if you're thinking what I'm thinking, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this as we hear a quick word from our sponsors. Every star in the sky reminds me of you, because even in the darkest of times, you still shine bright. Silence Breaker isn't just a shirt, it's a reminder that you have a story that deserves to be heard. I want you to take a look at Jake Haro's handcuffs for a moment. The fact that he's even double cuffed bothers me, because why are you making him comfortable? He should be very uncomfortable. The crime that you did makes us very uncomfortable. We don't care about your comfortability at this moment in time. Which brings me to my next point. Why is Jake Haro being separated from his co-defendant and wife, Rebecca Haro? This is a very high-profile case, so it could be that they're concerned for the safety of Jake Haro. But then it would also make you question, why wouldn't they move Rebecca Haro as well? With Jake and Rebecca being two high-profile inmates, some facilities aren't equipped to make sure that they can ensure the safety of them. Because even as safe as protective custody sounds, a lot of facilities aren't equipped with the proper faculty or security methods to make sure that other inmates don't get to them before they see their day in trial. So that's one possibility. His lawyer could have definitely petitioned that Jake isn't safe where they were currently housing him and requested that he be transferred somewhere where it'd be a lot safer for him. Another possibility is that although they will be separate in the jail that they were in, there's still communication that could be had between the two. And while police are gathering evidence and the prosecution is building its case, co-defendants aren't allowed to talk to each other. But it happens. If they were left in the same facility, there's a number of ways they can communicate with each other. They can either send notes to the staff members, whether it be a correctional officer or a nurse or an admin person, or they can send a message directly. And although we'd like to believe that every member of the faculty is an upstanding citizen, that's not always the case. But I believe that more than likely the reason why Jake Haro is being transferred to a different facility is because he's trying to work a deal out. At this point, he's only thinking about himself, and he's trying to work out some sort of deal. And although his wife went out of her way to protect him, I don't see Jake doing the same thing for her. I don't see him doing the same thing for her at all. Do not be surprised if Jake works out some sort of deal in which he leads investigators to the body and tries to put most of the blame on his wife, Rebecca. Although there's a strong possibility that Jake acted alone, do you think that he's an honorable enough man to exonerate his wife? Hit the like button while you ponder on that thought. Let's go ahead and pull up the facility where Jake is being transferred to. So it does look like a remote facility, as you see here on the edge of a mountain. It looks pretty well guarded, so probably no chance of escape for you, Jake Harrow. Let's take a further look. Okay, so here we have, looks like a correctional officer doing some patrolling around the facility. You know, just extra precautions to make sure that no one escapes. Okay, and behind him, it looks like, okay, so that's the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. Okay, so that's the Sheriff's Department office. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is the jail over here. For those of you wondering, currently I'm pretty sure that Jake Harrow is being held in solitary confinement in a cell by himself. It's not safe for him to be around other inmates, especially with his high-profile case. It's all over the news. All of the inmates in the jail know what's going on. So quite frankly, he'd be in extreme danger if they were to put him in general population. Even though I think that's exactly what he deserves. A little street justice never hurt nobody. But usually for cases like this, they hold the inmates in solitary confinement. They're usually on unalive watch, you know, because the circumstances of the situation, very high stress. Then also you're facing a lot of time. So they want to make sure that the inmate doesn't unalive prior to going to court. And I'm sure they've already performed several mental evaluations on him as well. This is also the part where Jake Harrow is going to try to play the role of being mentally insane. That's what his lawyer is going to be pushing for. They're going to say that he wasn't properly mentally evaluated or properly diagnosed for some sort of odd condition in which he's extremely incoherent and unaware of the crime that he committed, blah, blah, blah. All the nonsense that we don't want to hear because we know that you knew what you were doing. You're just a violent person that should have never been around kids after you did what you did to your 10-week-old daughter. This is another case in which there are no winners. Although we seek justice, it will never compensate for the life that you took, allegedly. You had no right, and again I say, if you didn't want the kids, if you don't like kids, why do you continuously have them? Why don't you choose to adopt? Why don't you give them away to somebody that will love, care, and nurture them? It is your boy Rick Ruger. Shout out to the Rugerverse and all of my superstars. Man.